Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Nightmare Mode run. I hope you're all doing well. Today I wanted to show you another relatively easy way to beat Nightmare Mode. So if you're looking to get a couple more Nightmare Mode wins after your first, or if you're looking to get your very first Nightmare Mode win, this should be a pretty solid way to do it. We're going to play the Soldier, which has all of the stuff that you really want on Nightmare Mode. There's a lot of damage, a lot of attack speed, ranged weapons, and so on, but obviously can't attack while moving, so we need really high damage to overcome that penalty. You can use pretty much any ranged weapon on the Soldier, and it should be relatively easy, but for this run, I'm going to go with Javelin. I think that Icicle is very good. I think any gun or mixture of guns, revolvers, probably the easiest run on the Soldier in general, but I've done a lot of gun runs on Nightmare, so let's go ahead and use Javelin. Position myself near the enemies so we can pick up the materials. Random to the map, and we're on the Abyss. I do think that's going to be a little harder than Crash Zone would be, because on the Abyss, we're going to be, even though the Javelin scales with melee damage, it's still a ranged weapon, so we're going to be triggering all of the additional effects from using ranged weapons on this map. I'm going to go ahead and ban the lens here, and then I could take 2 melee damage. I would love even more attack speed. 50% is definitely not enough. But let's just take 2 melee damage to go with the damage from our javelins. I'm going to go ahead and ban landmines, and Boxing Glove is pretty inefficient to buy melee damage with, so we'll just ban that right away. I'll ban the... I guess I'll leave Injection in the pool. I'll leave Propeller Hat in the pool, but I'm looking for higher tier economy items, like this Fertilizer. And then, like this Scar, and we'll roll. Alright, I'm hoping to find more Javelins. I could start buying Spears, because we haven't found other Javelins. And while I would prefer the range of Javelins, Spears are a totally reasonable weapon to add into a Javelin mix. They have the same base range. So I think I will buy a spear here, just because we were struggling to find enough weapons, so this can give me a little more damage output. And you definitely don't want to be stuck with only 2 weapons on Wave 2. That is a way to just throw a run. I want to get this tree if possible, and I did. And then here, I'm going to re-roll, and I'll take 2 melee damage, and then we're going to roll again, buy a spear, lock another spear, and go to wave 3. I could roll, but I already have a weapon locked, so I don't need to roll for another weapon there for 4. That would be, I think, a little too expensive just to re-roll the 1 slot on wave 2. It is, when you're buying multiple weapons, a little bit nicer to do that, because we could have found either a Javelin or a Spear, and we could have found a level 2 Javelin, and any of those would have been totally reasonable picks. Here, I will pick up 5 Harvesting, and then I'm going to grab 10 Luck, because it's also an economy upgrade. We'll buy the Fertilizer, and then I'm going to buy the Spear and the Corrupted Shard before I buy the Scar. Scar is very good, of course, but I really do want more weapons. And then I can roll, lock another Spear. I definitely would have preferred more Javelins for the extra crit chance, but all these Spears are totally fine, and I don't need to re-roll again. I'm not going to lock Charcoal. Yes, we do want to buy more melee damage, but that type of small melee damage increase we can get later on. What I need more up at this point is economy stats to get us out of the early game, defensive stats for when we do take a hit, and attack speed so that we can kill enemies relatively quickly. On the Abyss, of course, we do want to build Curse most of the time. There are some runs that don't, but this run definitely does, because it's a powerful character. I should have stopped moving just slightly earlier. I wanted to make sure I killed the Curse Alien, but it did mean that I gave up a few more enemy kills. And then here I'm going to re-roll, and I'll take 8 Harvesting, getting up over 20 Harvesting, which is nice. We'll buy these items. I will buy the Mushroom. I'll lock the Beanie. You want a lot of move speed on the Soldier, because when you have to move, you want to be able to move quickly. I probably will end up building dodge on this character, but I'm not going to lock the feather. I will leave it in the pool, though. I do want to build more range. The soldier does need a fair amount of range. And on Nightmare mode, range is a little more impactful than it is on lower difficulties, though still, for most characters, better avoided. But we will take a good range upgrade if we see one in a level up or something. I do need more attack speed. I'll take one more harvesting upgrade, but after this I kind of have to stop. And then I could take 2 melee damage. I could also roll for a better stat. I guess I'll just take the melee damage because re-rolling is getting kind of expensive. Do I want level 1 javelins? Javelins are better to level, so because you get the crits, the automatic crits more often. So I'm going to focus on leveling my javelins, and we'll keep more spears overall. And then I'll buy a spear here. Pets are actually very good for the soldier because they can attack things while you're moving, which is pretty helpful. And we already have decent damage, so we can buy the rat. We also get plus 50% damage base, so the pets will get extra value there. I'm just going to ban both of these items so that we get to reroll for free. And then, okay, well, hunting trophy on a javelin build is obviously amazing. So getting an early hunting trophy is going to be a lot of free money. The level 2 javelin basically has 25% crit chance, right? Because it crits every 4 attacks. So you get a lot of free criticals without having to actually buy any critical hit, which is going to make the hunting trophy pretty effective. The downside of hunting trophy on this build is we also have a bunch of spears, so we'll probably end up actually buying some crit since we got the hunting trophy. Normally you don't really want to buy crit when you have javelins, since you effectively buy it at a reduced rate thanks to the automatic criticals. No, I didn't stop moving in time, so I didn't kill that loot alien. Really poorly played there. I could have definitely gotten it. I'll take the attack speed here, and then I'll take 5 crit because we have a hunting trophy that we're buying. I'm going to level my javelins for more automatic criticals, buy a spear and roll, buy a bag, and we'll lock Gentle Alien, Propeller Hat, and Head Injury. Great items there. You want to tap move around on the soldier? I haven't been doing that enough. Just tap the movement keys so that you can constantly stop moving. And allow yourself to attack. The real challenge for this character is elites, which you need enough damage to kill really quickly. We don't currently have enough damage to kill the elites really quickly, but hopefully we can get there. I will say this run has definitely been a little more challenging than a standard soldier run with guns would have been, but I'm also having more fun with it, so that part's good. I'm going to just go ahead and ban the turret, and then I could take 7 crit chance, but I really need armor. We have 0 armor, so I'm going to roll for a +3 armor upgrade, and we'll take that. And then we will buy these items and roll. We'll buy a corrupted shard. We'll take coral as well. We're going to be standing still. Now, you don't use coral as effectively on the soldier as you might think, because the coral requires you to be standing still for a pretty long time before the regen kicks in, but it is still a good item for the character. And then I'm going to roll here, and we'll buy a lemonade, and I'll re-roll one more time, lock a few more items, just some very solid items there overall. Basically, the way that coral works is it kicks in as soon as you stop moving, but the way that regen functions, when your regeneration changes right away, it doesn't give you as much regeneration as you would expect from the next full second of regen. So Coral is less efficient on the soldier, which is tapping around, than you would kind of want it to be. If you're just standing still full time, if you're just in a full standstill mode, then the Coral's fine. But for the more typical way of playing the soldier, where you're running around doing attacks, like we're doing here, the Coral just won't always be on. I'm going to take 2 armor here, and then 4 melee damage, and then I'm going to buy this whole shop. I guess I'll pick up the head injury over the acid, and we'll take a weird food for sure. I'll definitely take a helmet. I have 18 luck. I can just buy this whole shop. I think a pearl is fine. I will say, because I haven't leveled my javelins that much, and we have 4 spears with no crit chance, the hunting trophy has definitely been less impactful than we would like it to be. Still getting some money from it, but it's not been a major source of income yet. With a second coral, once I get some more armor, and if I get like a statue and a barricade, we could actually transition to being a true standstill build, where we actually don't move. Not the way that I normally play this character, but if we get a bunch of the standstill items, that is a viable path. I'm gonna just recycle the feather. It looks like I'm not really gonna be building dodge here. We'll take 15 attack speed and 3 armor. That's excellent. And then we're gonna buy out this whole shop. We'll reroll. Okay, got some more javelins. I'm gonna go ahead and get a few more javelins in my weapon set, although I can't combine my spears anymore, actually, so we have to level a javelin here. I'll lock a tentacle, but I want more javelins because that's more crits for our hunting trophy. And then I'll roll, lock a spear, roll again. Nothing else here. But now that I have 3 javelins and one of them's level 3, so it's critting every 3rd attack, we're going to get a lot more hunting trophy income, which is nice. Tentacle, of course, should also be okay healing, though often when you need to heal on the soldier, you're not attacking. And so lifesteal and tentacle and similar items are less impactful than you would kind of want them to be for this character. So you can see it actually, if you watch the health numbers, you can see that it takes a little bit before we start getting health at an increased rate when we stop moving on the soldier. And that's why Coral is less effective than you might think. These walruses are really dangerous at the end of wave 10, but we made it through. We'll take the Vigilante Ring. We'll take the Insanity. I'm going to take the... I could take the 45 range upgrade. I've bought a lot of negative range, which is actually impacting us. I could also roll for armor, which might be better. Roll for melee damage. I think I do just need to roll for damage. And I'll take the attack speed here, and we'll pick up 2 more armor. We'll go ahead and upgrade our spear. We'll buy a tentacle. Alienize is a way to do damage when we're moving, but I don't think that the damage is high enough to matter. The Rip and Tear reduces my crit chance, which is pretty bad. I could build Chameleon, and then we could actually potentially be a standstill build if I get a couple chameleons, if I get a little more dodge. I think with double coral, I'm going to try this. This, like I said, is not the normal way that I recommend you play the character, but for this particular run, I think is actually a fairly reasonable option. Trying to just make very small micro adjustments in my positioning to stay ahead of where the elite is attacking, but not give up too much damage. Now here I had to move away Gonna take a few hits as I move away from the elite here, and then I have to stand still. And if I tap move away from it, I should be able to get it and get the full heal. Honestly, a fairly badly played fight by me. I took a few extra hits there, but we made it through. Basically, I pinned myself into the corner twice, forcing myself to take a few hits by moving through enemies instead of being able to just keep circling around the elite and dodging its attacks by tap moving. Loot Worm is great. Hourglass, I don't think I can afford to take. If this wasn't an elite wave, I would take it. But even with double coral, I just don't have enough healing to be able to play an elite wave at 1 HP right now. So as fun as it would be, I just don't think we can. I'm going to reroll that, and I'll take the luck here. We're going to buy another pearl as well. Increasing enemy move speed is dangerous, but that's all stats we want, so of course we're going to buy that. We'll buy the defective steroids as well. Pretty easy shopping trip there. We're just going straight to the next wave. So sad I had to pass the hourglass, but there's just no way we could have bought it. Alright, so I do need to kind of tap move my way after the enhanced hatcher. If a bunch of enhanced slashers spawn, that's definitely a way that we lose this run. Come on, the cursed enhanced hatcher dropped 0 materials. Brutal. With spear and javelin as our weapon, if things are getting dangerous, I can always move to the corner. And then because these weapons have a lot of pierce, we'll just be able to attack enemies as they approach from one direction. Power generator, that's damage positive. Coupon, of course, is good here. All right, here's a good spot to take a range upgrade and kind of fix the range that I've reduced by a lot. I'll roll here. I'll take a lure. That's excellent. And then I'll roll again. A cursed feather. Yeah, I'll take a cursed feather. I can potentially start building dodge. And it gives me curse, which is also just inherently good to have. We'll upgrade our javelin to level 2. We'll buy these 2 items as well. And we'll go to the next wave. So the enhanced pufferfish, of course, are going to be somewhat scary because half my weapons are javelins, which will trigger the double explosion. Now, we've been lucky enough to only hit them with spears so far. Kind of fun. We did get a dodge there. My 5% dodge going off. And I don't really care about the Hatcher making one of these slashers. That doesn't really matter. I do want to get this Curse Alien kill if I can, and I did get it before the end of the wave, so that's great. I'll recycle the Boiling Water, recycle Gummy Berserker, of course. I'll take 4 regen here, and then... yeah, Night Goggles will definitely take. It's good for our spears. So, yeah, I'm not sure why. I guess we just did get lucky, and our spears were what hit the enemy. We do have 2 level 3 spears, and these weapons do go up in range as you level them. Javelin and spear both gain 25 range every level, so the spears were more likely to hit it, since there's 2 of them at the longest range. Pile of Books is too expensive for the crit chance, even with a hunting trophy, so we're going to pass on that. I'll take a Scar, lock a Javelin, do 1 more reroll, and then we'll buy a Corrupted Shard. I'll lock the Fin. Lifesteal is pretty good here, and move speed is good, even though I have double Pearl. Losing 8 luck, not that big a deal. My melee damage is also terrible, so even though it's pretty expensive, I think I have to buy the Wheat. Especially right before we go into an elite wave and need a bunch of damage to kill the elite, of course. The enhanced walruses, especially if they spawn cursed or if they get buffed, are pretty dangerous to the soldier because they can charge right over you, and on a darkness wave in particular, can be pretty scary. Also, of course, the actual name for the enhanced walrus is the cool walrus, which, for some reason, always sounds funny to me. Doing pretty well in terms of clear speed, though. We'll take the cake here, and then I guess just 3 more armor. I'll buy the wheat first, and the javelin, and the defective steroids, because I just want as much damage as I can get going into this wave. Definitely the cursed lemonade. I'm not going to take starfish. That's just too easy a way to get one shot and die. We will take a spear. And then, okay, well, this is the elite that wants you to stand still against it anyways, so pretty happy to be facing the standing still elite with the standing still character. Definitely a convenient role. Trying to clear the eggs before we get too many enhanced slashers. Definitely a danger here. And the enhanced hatcher. Get the enhanced blobfish and kind of tap my way around. Oh, right. We have more than 5% dodge because I have Chameleon. I forget that it actually does something. That's why I've been getting so many dodges. I've been thinking I was getting really lucky, but we bought the Chameleon. And even though I have the standstill items, we're still getting the value, and we're moving. We're still getting the value of the standstill items because I'm tapping the move keys, so I'm mostly standing still. I'm going to take the crit chance there. We'll buy the scar. We will, of course, level our javelin, and level our spear. And I'll buy Fin later. I'll roll. I have a level 2 spear, so I can buy that. I can buy Scar. Clockwork Wasp. I already have 13 move speed. I don't think I really need it. Wave 16, Darkness Wave is somewhat scary on the Abyss. Because it's easy for a bunch of mini-bosses to spawn. Now, I didn't actually know that there was an audio cue for the mini-bosses, or for the Stargazers entering the tower. And I complained about that in my last video. Turns out I was wrong about that. People pointed out that there is an audio cue. It's the same grunt that they make when they get enraged, when they enter the tower. I just had never sort of noticed that. I do think they should have a more noticeable audio cue, but it is true that there is one. And I think I just heard it. But no idea where the tower was. I guess it was at the bottom left, since that's where the mini-boss came from. A lot of Curse Alien kills at the end there. That was fun. I have enough HP. I'm going to roll, and 20 luck. Pretty good here. We'll take the Scar. We'll take the Spear. We'll take the Fin. I have -2 elemental damage. Some crit chances, of course, good on our Spears. It's also okay on Javelins. Like, on the level 4 Javelin, we buy it at half rate, because every second attack is a crit automatically, so you don't need crit chance for those attacks. Means the crit chance only applies half as many times as it would for a normal weapon. But you also have 3.25x critical damage, and so crit chance is more efficient, even if you buy it at a lower rate. I will take the Frozen Heart. It's a minuscule amount of damage, but 5 crit chance, I think, is worth grabbing here. We'll take a Javelin. We'll keep buying a Pearl. I'd be going into the Wave 18 fight with Scarf, so I don't want Scarf, even though the stats are really good. Do I want Snail? I think I kind of do, going into the Elite fight. It will just make it a little easier to stay ahead of it, even when we're tap moving. So I really want to kill the stargazers before I kill the towers. Because the enhanced stargazers, when they're enraged, really dangerous to a standing still build. I need to go get this one before it hatches, though. We do have a decent amount of knockback, but you can see how much pressure those guys are putting on me by charging directly at me. They move so fast and have so many hit points. The bowler hat at this point in the run, I think is... I'd rather just recycle it, and then I'll take 10 attack speed here. I could take another big range upgrade if I wanted, but I think I just need the melee damage more than I need the range. An upgraded spear is a great find here. We now still have 3 different levels of spear, so I can't actually combine and get an extra javelin, but I can go up to a level 4 javelin. We can buy all this stuff. We can reroll. We can... Do I want eye patch? It does give extra pierce to my javelins. Now, they have 5 at base, so it's pretty irrelevant. I think I'll pass on the eye patch. The level 1 javelin I can't buy without selling something, so it doesn't really do much for me. And then I'll reroll here and reroll again. Lucky Charm, the Cursed Lucky Charm is pretty good because we have 3 pearls. So it's actually a reasonable amount of percent damage already. Took that hit, have to kind of back off a little bit from the elite here, and we'll hold over here and try to heal up. Have to run a few times, and again, try to hold still, and then we'll kill the elite. But that was a rough fight again. I definitely don't have the damage yet to be able to just one-tap the bosses, which is what you usually want to do on this character. Want to kill this loot alien, and I did get it. Couple free items here. Exoskeleton I'll definitely take, and Lemonade will take a free pearl. Yes, a Lemonade and another free pearl. That's a lot of bonus damage starting to stack up. I'll pick up 4 armor, and then we will buy the Lucky Charm and Cyclops Worm, and we'll reroll, level our Javelin. Sad Tomato, pretty good. Sunken Bell could clear the wave when we're going into the boss fight, but I think I'm just going to reroll here, and we'll take a plant as well. The advantage of the Sunken Bell is that it'll give me more space to maneuver on the boss wave, and I am pretty worried about the boss wave, to be honest. On a gun build on the soldier, we would have more damage at this point. Now, I've managed to build up a decent amount of armor, and a reasonable amount of healing, so we should be okay for the boss wave, but I'm not feeling 100% confident, and I don't like not being 100% confident when I'm going into a boss wave. By this point, the build should have come together well enough that you just know you're going to win. Yeah, we'll take a Garden, we'll take the Insanity, we'll take another Pearl. I could take the Gambling Token. I think I'm just going to recycle it. I'm going to reroll here. I'll take Attack Speed. I will buy these items. Sure, I'll take another Coral. Triangle of Power is definitely going to be useful in the boss wave, because we just won't take enough hits. Hopefully. I mean, if I take enough hits that the Triangle of Power isn't increasing my damage enough, then we're probably dead anyways. We'll take this and this, and re-roll again, and just gonna re-roll for fun, and re-roll for fun. The Cape would have been a good way to get into a into dodge if I'd gotten that earlier, and the lifesteal would have been nice as well. This spear would have been good also, but let's just go to the next wave here. Oh, I shouldn't have started moving right away. I actually gave up a bunch of coral regen by doing that, and I had sad tomato, so kind of sloppy decision making there. Trying to tap move my way so that I'm actually following the elite. I need to run and back off and do some attacks against some other stuff. Stack up my attacks so that we hit both bosses, and then once I've killed one, the rest of this gets a lot easier. And then I should be able to just tank the boss with my standstill items for the rest of the wave, because we had triple coral, so we just had a ton of regeneration there. We had 70 regen when standing still. Or is that counting? No, that's not counting the coral. Yeah, we had medkit and triple coral, so we just had 70 regeneration when standing still, and we're basically invincible. I don't think we saw a barricade. It's also possible that my brain fully skipped over a barricade because it's a trash item on every other run. But for this run, this would have been the world's only barricade run. I do think that this was a good example of how you can incorporate the standing still items without having to be a full don't move, take your hands off the keyboard run. And I do think that that worked out very well. Looking at our items here, we had 25,000 damage from Ratzilla, so it did pretty well. 1,000 materials from our hunting trophies, and 350 from our bag, so great there. 6 pearls were awesome, bunch of damage from Vigilante Ring, 58 healing from Tentacle. Loot Worm gave me 69 materials, nice. We had 200 saved from Coupon. The night goggles were an excellent find, actually. Really nice option for us, helping to fix our low range, which was definitely on the low side given the weapons we were using and the character we were playing. And what else? The Triangle of Power was great at the end, of course, extra damage there. The Frozen Heart was okay. You definitely could have skipped that in this run, but overall, I'd say this was a pretty solid run. Definitely a little easier to play this character with guns or icicles, I think. But this is a totally viable way to do it as well, and I wanted to try something a little bit different. So I hope that you enjoyed that run. As always, of course, if you have enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.